Okay, welcome back to the channel. So this is another video on E3 metals. I'm also going to tell you some things that I've learned just to look at any company and where I've gone wrong before. So E3 metals, pretty much what they're doing is underneath this here. This is an old oil thing. It sucks brine out of the ground, gets the oil out of the brine. They can now use this to suck out the brine. Instead of getting the oil out of the brine, they're going to get the lithium out. So here is it here. They got this Leduc aquifer under here, which says they have 7 million tons of lithium carbonate equivalent, which is a lot. And that's just, see these dark blue ones here, that's where they are so far. So they can expand more, expand this thing here. And this is an inferred resource. So if you don't know, inferred means like they're pretty sure it's there. Indicated means they drilled it, tested it, whatever, so many times that every time they drilled it or tested it, it came up as there and it's indicated to be there. So the thing is, they drilled in once over here. The lithium over here is not going to be different because you think it's in a water table. It's all going to be the same. So anyway, they suck out this water. It's got like less than 1% lithium in it. They have these special beads. So when the water goes through this tank, the lithium comes off the water and gets stuck to the beads. And then they get the lithium off the beads another way. They've been doing it for years with desalination plants. So the water comes through, they get the salt off it. It's been done for years, so they're just trying to work out the best way to do it scale now, because obviously they want to get the lithium out, but they don't want to get all these other things out. So it just came to my attention, they got a new PEA. One thing I did notice is the capex is gone up to 1 billion Canadian or 700 USD. I think it was 600 before, but that's the capex if they do 20,000 tons per annum. So think about capex. If you need to raise $1 billion and your company doesn't have $1 billion, the guy who's going to lend you that money probably wants a big share of whatever it is you're doing. So you're going to have to sell your ass to him. But if you start smaller and your company can make money and then use that money, you get better financing terms, in my opinion. So they can start it. If they're not going to get good financing terms, maybe they get better financing terms at 5,000 tons per annum, and then they can go from there. But the first thing is a proof. This is technology. It hasn't worked at scale yet, so they've got to prove it to that person who's going to let in $1 billion, and that could be a whole group of people, including people in the share market. So yeah, they want to start at 20,000, but they can start at 5,000 if that's better financing terms. And once they get the 20,000, it's working. Then they can get up to 150,000. They said they can go to 150,000 tons per annum, and the selling price here, so their cost price is 3,500 or thereabouts. DLE process, extraction of lithium from brine, including power. So these are including power. So a big cost of everything they do is power. So their power is going to come from wind turbines, which is another thing I discovered today. When I make these videos, I always learn something new. So I thought hydroelectricity is the best and cheapest. And yeah, it probably is still. It all depends on circumstances. But now the cost of wind and solar is coming down so much it can compete with hydroelectricity. So it all depends where you are in the world. But this thing, if you have to build a dam in somewhere, it's going to take a lot of effort than sticking up just a wind turbine. But there's lots of different cases. Though they're going to use wind, and then because the wind doesn't always blow, the sun doesn't always shine, they'll have a gas backup. And gas doesn't produce a lot of CO2. And remember, if you invest in these future companies, if they're green, you want to make sure they're green. Like, you can get a winner that's not green, but if everyone just wants green in the future, that's the reason we're going to electric vehicles. You want a green company. So this company is going green. They can do it all green as well. So tick the box there. So anyway, they get out of the ground, produce it at 3,500, and selling it at 14,000. It's mean the profit's about 10,000. 10,000 times 20,000. Let's do the maths. I think it was 100 million. 10,000. Oops, wait, bear me a second. 200 million. So the company's only worth 150 million today on the stock market. They do have to raise 700 million to build it. But then once they do it, that's how much they'll be making. And take in mind, this price now is actually 25,000. So they're actually making double what their PEA assessment is. This is factored in for an average price and a big offtake park. Although I think that is a spot price for lithium. A big offtake partner will want a good deal, so that's probably why they got that there. So not to mention, they get 20,000 and the technology works at 20,000. They can go up to 150,000 and 150,000 times 10,000 is a F load of money. So how much is that? $1.5 billion. For a company you can buy today for $150 million, you have to buy the company at that price, at the last traded stock price. Then you have to get the money, $700 million, to build it. And you probably have to do that every time to do that. So don't really say they suck it out of the brine, get the lithium out there. And yeah, so on the low end, seems like a winner. You can buy this company for 150,000, or you can go buy LKE on the ASX, Lake Resources. They're at the same place. They haven't proven the technology yet, and they're at $1 billion. Standard Lithium has proven it probably more than E3 Metals has. What E3 Metals is doing now in the lab, they're getting the brine through. They're getting the process down in the lab before they take it to pilot plant. So they're going to say, okay, this is definitely working the best, so we'll build the pilot plant like this. That's pretty much what they're doing now. So you wouldn't just go and build a big pilot plant spending millions and millions of dollars. You would think, no, let's see what's actually going to work first and then do it. So that's what they're doing now. Also, another thing about this company, the capex is 700 million. I thought this thing was 600, but they brought that up. Probably because everything in the world's going up with inflation. But everything, these oil wells, every one of these that they can convert to a lithium well will save them, I think, $2 million. And I think there's about 50 of these that they can do it with. So that's going to save $100 million, which who doesn't want $100 million? And so the MPV, don't really pay attention to the MPV because there's many other factors. That's just saying that it does, if you spent the 700 million, that's how much you're going to get back over time. It doesn't tell you what the share price will do, because if they have to raise so much money, it's going to dilute the share price. That's just my opinion anyway. Because FPX nickel, really good thing for a big person who has $1.6 billion capex. They can buy this project and make squillions of dollars, but the share price might not reflect that. That's where I went wrong in this company. I didn't look at the capex, which is a pretty big factor when buying these companies. So that's another thing. You look at the capex, how much they're going to have to raise to do the project, because that will tell you how much money they have to raise and dilute the shares, etc., etc. Good thing about E3 Metals, as I said before, they can start off smaller and probably make some money themselves. So 5,000 tons times 10,000 profit, maybe it's 20,000 to start with, $50 million a year. So they can get that, and then someone might say, okay, well, we'll loan you the money at a lower rate because you're doing it pretty well at that thing. And that's just my thoughts. So E3 Metals, I think, clear risk to reward winner in the DLE space. And also another thing, they say they're going to do it for 3,500 tons per annum. And if they don't, say this is at 6,000 at the start. I don't know who works it out. Some guy like me who's done lots of research works this out with a team. So that's the number they came to. But maybe they start at 6,000, a cost of 6,000, sell at 10,000, so they start low profit. But if you know what happens with the company, they become more efficient over time. So they start off 6,000, and they say, oh, we can build this wind farm. That's going to save us 10% in electricity per year. So that's another percentage. And then they say, oh, we got this process here. This will save us another 10%. And they just keep saving 10% here and there. And eventually, the cost of operation goes down. So that's the thing. You want to start at a good price and it goes down. And I don't know what else I can say. I just think it's a clear winner. If anyone's buying Lake Resources now and is not buying this, I'd like to know why you're doing that. And also with Standard Lithium. Although Standard Lithium, these guys are yet to build a pilot plant. Standard Lithium's having a pilot plant built for a while, and I think they just got to prove the concept, and this other big company will give them money to do the big thing. So there was a short seller report. This company, Blue Walker, came out with a short selling report saying these guys didn't work, low recovery rate, so they're not actually getting it out of the ground and produce the lithium at this so cost. And then Standard Lithium came back saying, yes, we are doing it, you read the facts wrong. So this guy, Blue Walker, was reading the facts saying, wait a minute, they're not doing it right. And Standard Lithium, what is it? Standard Lithium. Standard Lithium, no, you read that wrong. Read, no. Anyway, Standard Lithium was saying, no, you read that wrong. They're saying they only produce 150 tons of lithium, and Standard Lithium saying, no, we produce that amount, and the rest of the stuff we just put back into the ground because we were only trying to work it out with the 150 tons. We didn't need the other stuff. Yada, yada, yada. And another thing you might want to point out about DLE research, Bermali, if DLE works, and this company is worth, I think, 30 billion. Well, price. No, I said Perth there. So these guys are printing money in the lithium space. How is it not that they haven't got DLE to work? Is the question. So you think that these guys, I think they're pretty sure they tried it. So maybe that's the thing, that DLE doesn't work at scale. Because why have this company not spent a lot of money doing it? You think these guys would have cracked it with all the money they had. So let's read more into that, shall we? We can read more. DLE lithium. Anyway, I'll leave it at that. You can research why Abmali have not cracked it with all the money they have. I'm just putting it out there. And that's why you only put maybe 10% into E3 metals if you're thinking about it, or any company for that matter. That is quite risky, because the risk here is it doesn't work at scale, and down the drain goes your money. Although it could work pretty well at scale, and you might do alright. So that's what I'm saying, the risk to reward is big. There's risk it's not going to work, but the reward is really big, and if it works half good, there's still a bit of reward. So that's why I think E3 Metals is a good company. Amen.